Yogatatvopanishad. Yogatatvopanishad belongs to the Krishna Yajurveda and it has 142 mantras. The Upanishad opens with the question of Brahmadeva asking Sri Mahavishnu, and Lord Vishnu replies to the questions of the Brahmadeva. The entire Upanishad is an elaboration of the answers given by Sri Mahavishnu. The Upanishad begins by saying the difference between Paramatma and Jivatma, the Saguna and the Nirgunas, what we are, how a human being is defective, and what are the defects of the human being, and if the defects have been removed, the same person becomes the Paramatma. So the Jivatma becomes Paramatma, the Jivatma transforms into Paramatma by removing the defects. And how the defects have to be removed? The Upanishad presents 4 yogas: Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and the Raja Yoga, and explains each one. And while explaining, the Upanishad goes detail in the practice of pranayama. What should be the posture, asana for the pranayama, and how it is to be practiced with matras, the counts. The matras for inhalation, exhalation, and the Kevala Kumbhaka. And what are the rules to be practiced for food and bath, Anna and the Snana, for the pranayama practice to be very effective. Then the Upanishad gives a description of the famous Kevala Kumbhaka. And after describing the asana and the pranayama, to remove the defects of the Jivatma, Omkara Dhyana has been introduced in the levels for the beginners and for the best, highest practitioners. Then there is a Parichayavastha, Ghatavastha. Then the Dharana of the Panchabhutas, Panchadevas. Then finally a Dhyana on the Saguna and the Nirguna Dhyana. Then the Upanishad talks about the higher practices like Mahamandha, Mahaveda, Kechari, Bandhatraya, Viparita Karni, Vajroli, Amaroli. And finally the Upanishad explains the Yoga Tattva is to remove the cover of the body on the Atman. The light of the Atman, the Paramatma, shines brightly if the cover, the Jivatma, is removed. Or Jivatma Tattvam, Jivatma Bhavana, if it is eliminated, what remains is the Paramatma. This is the essence of the Yoga Tattva Upanishad. And that is how the Yoga Tattva Upanishad begins the Ashtanga Yoga Jignasaha. One has to understand the important practices of the Ashtanga Yoga. Then Nishkalam, Nirmalam, Shantam, Sarvatitam, Niramayam, Tadeva Jiva Rupena Punya Papa Phalair Vrittam. That is the Paramatma Sarupam, the pure consciousness in all of us. In fact, we are the Paramatman. What makes us the Jivatma? What makes us us to feel that we are not Paramatman, but we are the Jivatman. That is the crux of the Upanishad. Sri Mahavishnu explains, Kama, Krodha, Bhayam cha api, Moha, Lobha, Mado, Rajaha, Janma, Mrityuscha, Karpanyam, Shokastandra, Kshudha, Trisha, Trishna, Lajja, Mayam, Dukkham, Vishado, Harsham, Evacha, Evi, Doshair, Vinirmuktaha, Sa Jivaha, Kevalo, Mataha. These are the defects, qualities which make a Jivatma, or we have to say our inability to recognize we as a Paramatman, and these are the inabilities or the defects: lust, anger, fear, delusion, greed, infatuation, passion, birth, death, niggardliness, sorrow, sloth, hunger, thirst, covetousness, shame, trepidation, misery, depression, joy. All these qualities, if they have been removed, purified, then the Jivatma stands as the Paramatman. This is a beautiful suggestion that yoga or yoga sadhana is not that something is made out of nothing or is to become something. It is to expose or experience what is the real already existent. Then the Upanishad presents the methods of removing these defects from the Jivatma. That is the four yogas: Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and the Raja Yoga. Yogo hi bahudha brahman bhidyate vyavaharan mantra yogo layaschaiva hato raja yogakaha. Then the Upanishad speaks about the beginning stages, the arambha stages, then the advanced stages, Ghata stage, Arambha stage, Parichaya stage, and the last is the Nishpatti, the final stage. So these are the avasthas in there, the stages in these practices. In Mantra Yoga, we have all these stages, the Arambha, Ghata, Parichaya, and Nishpatti. Similarly, in the Laya Yoga, similarly in the Hatha Yoga, similarly in the Raja Yoga. So in each practice of the yoga, in the practitioner undergoes all these four stages. Even if we take Yamaniyamathana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhyani, even in the Yama Ahimsa Satyastya Brahmacharya Aparigraha Jan Shauta Shantosha Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana, in all these, in entire constituents and the subconstituents of all the practices, these four avasthas, the four stages are there. Arambha, Ghata, Parichaya, and the Nishpatti levels. Then it talks about the Mantra Yoga. What is Mantra Yoga? Mananat Trayate iti Mantraha. Listening and uttering the japa. And listening and uttering a particular mantra, Mananat Trayate iti mantraha, that which frees a person's mind, that which cuts the bondages of the mind, and that makes the mind free from all the bondages. And that is mantraha, a specific sounds arranged in a specific manner with a specific letters, aksharas, bijaksharas, forming into a sound, and these sounds and aksharas and bijaksharas forming into a sentence. So a sentence comprises of various alphabets, various sounds, and these alphabets and the sounds arranged in a particular form. that makes the mind to gets elevated from its bondages. And that sentence, syllables, alphabets are the mantra. Mananat trayate iti mantraha. So there are 8-syllable mantras: Ashtakshari, Panchakshari, Saptakshari, Shadakshari, Ekadasha Akshari. So various mantras are there. Overall, the best is the Pranava Mantropasana. And then we come to the Laya Yoga. Laya Yoga is merging oneself into a state of higher level. It is a dissolution of the mind. And this dissolution of the mind is to be practiced while walking, while standing, sleeping, eating, in all our activities. Gacham, Tishtan, Sapan, Bhujan, Dhyayen, Nishkalam, Ishwaram. A constant feeling, awareness and remembering of the Ishwara. One's mind merges in that. And that is called as the Laya Yoga. Then we have the practice of the Hatha Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Prana Samyama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and of course the Samadhi. And the Upanishad describes the Yama, the Ahimsa, Niyamas, and the various practices. And the Yogatatvopanishad gives 10 yamas and 10 niyamas. And some are very common, some are slightly different. And that is how after the explaining the yama niyamas, the Upanishad talks about the asana and the pranayama, the practice of the pranayama, how pranayama is to be practiced. Beautifully the Upanishad explains, it has to be practiced in Padmasana posture, resorting into a place, a lonely place, a secluded place, names it as the Mataha. Sitting in Padmasana in a Mataha it is. Pranayamam tataha kuryat Padmasanagataha swayam Shushobhanam matham kuryat Sukshmadwaram tu nirvanam. That is, cut off from every external temptations and attractions. And then that practicing the pranayama, inhalations and exhalations. And these inhalations and exhalations are to be practiced with a specific counting, matras. Januho pradakshino kritya na dhrutam na vilambitam angulis photaknam kuryat sa matra parigiyate. Yogatatvopanishad specifies what is a matra. It defines what is matra. It gives a time scale of matra. When we say 2 matras, 10 matras, 5 matras, what is 1 matra? It gives the time taken by one when he snaps the fingers after circling, neither too quickly nor too slowly, the knee. That is called 1 matra. There is no confusion in this. Just move the palm round the knee and make a snap. That is the 1 matra. How much time it takes, that is 1 matra. We should all remember, it is not 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 10 seconds like that. A matra means this is the 1 matra. Yes. Moving the palm just round the knee as in a circle and snapping the fingers. This is one matra. Is it 2 seconds? Is it 5 seconds? That doesn't matter. This is the matra. For some people it may take 2 seconds, some people it may take 5 seconds. So for them that is one matra. This is how the Yogatatvopanishad defines. Then talks about the inhalation and exhalation timing. That's why when we practice pranayama, we should always remember, when we use matra definition as a time, for everybody it should be 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. We cannot standardize the inhalation, exhalation and kumbhakas based on presently used seconds, keeping a watch or a clock in front of us. The Upanishad specifies the matra, timing of the matra. So it means every sadhaka's time for the matra is different from every other sadhaka. So we cannot specify and fix. Inhalation should be 10 seconds, exhalation should be 20 seconds, kumbhaka should be 25 seconds or 30 seconds, seeing a clock or a watch. That is not the timing. The timing is matra. A matra is that person's individual measurement. This is how the Upanishad beautifully explains what is kevala kumbhaka tatah param yadheshtam tu shaktaha syad vayudharane yadheshta dharanadvayoho siddhat kevala kumbhakaha kevale kumbhake siddhe recha pura vivarjite natasya durlabham kinchit trishu lokeshu vidyate. It is yadheshta dharana dvayoho. Yadheshtaha, kevala kumbhaka never specifies, or in pranayama it never specifies. One should hold the breath this much time. Yadheshtaha, as per one's capacity. Inhale as per one's capacity. Exhale as per one's capacity. Hold the breath as per the capacity. It also never talks of inhalation increasing the time or increasing the exhalations. It always says slow down the process, slowing down the process. That is an important dimension which we should all learn from the Yogatatvopanishad. Then what are the practices involved in the while practicing the pranayama practices? What are the food? What are the rules to be taken for the practice of the food? How much food one should take and how much time one should spend. This Kala Parimiti has been described in the Yogatatvopanishad, especially in the 400 matras, and even the food timings have been mentioned in the matras. And that is how, after explaining the Kevala Kumbhaka, the Yogatatvopanishad speaks about the Omkaraha, and Omkara Dhyanaha also is being given in the Arambha Avastha, Ghata Avastha. That is the stages, the beginning stage, middle stage and the advanced stages. Parichaya Avastaha, it is the beautifully the Upanishad talks. The beginning stage is the Arambha Avastaha. That means practicing the Omkara chanting in a specific time, a highest pitch of the three matras. That is the Arambha Sthiti. And Ghata Sthiti is feeling the inhalations and exhalations and the chanting, not producing the sound outside. And the advanced stage, the Parichayavastaha, is the state where it's only an awareness of the Omkara and the breathing are felt. Only the awareness. Vayunamaha chittam cha pravishechya mahapatham yasya chittam sa pavanam sushumnam pravishedya. It is chitta. It is a mental, a psychological inhalations and exhalations. It is not that mentally we are inhaling and mentally we are, it is not that way. You are aware of the inhalations and exhalations without making any external rigorous effort of the inhalations and exhalations. This is the practice of the Parichayavastaha. Then after the Dharana and the Dhyana, the Upanishad gives a wonderful practice of the Saguna and the Nirguna Dhyana. Saguna Dhyana is the practice of the meditation on all the available things. It can be any object, any image, anything which is external. That is the practice of the Saguna Dhyanaha. Samabhyaset tatha dhyanam घटिकाष्टिमेवच वायु निरुद्ध्य चाकाशे देवता मिष्टदामितिः सगुण ध्यानमेतत् स्याद् अनिमादि गुणप्रदम्. The Upanishad puts it that 60 ghatikas, if a person can hold the mind on one single object, one single thought, one single idea, when the mind is not wavering from any one particular thought, idea or the feeling for 60 ghatikas, say 60 seconds, it is a very good practice, the Upanishad puts it. And if the same is done, if the same is achieved without any external object or the image, and even without creating, without imagining, without bringing any object and idea within the mind, but holding the mind absolutely on one single awareness, without any Rupa and Nama Rahita, Rupa Rahita state of the mind for 60 ghatikas, that is the Nirgunaha. And how this Saguna to Nirguna level one can progress? The Yogatatvopanishad prescribes higher practices like Mahamandaha, Mahavedaha, Kheshari, Bandhatraya, and first time Yogatatvopanishad brings in the Viparita Karani, Vajroli and the Amaroli practices from the 112 mantra to the next 30 mantras, that is up to 142, is this description of the entire Mahabandha, Mahavedha, Khechari, Bandhatraya. As we all know, these are all the practices combined with inhalation kumbhaka, exhalation kumbhaka, antara kumbhaka or bahya kumbhaka, and ultimately it is the kevala kumbhaka coupled with the bandhas. Mahabandaha, Mahavedaha, Kheshari, Bandhatraya, and even in the Viparita Karani, Vajroli practices. And this is how Yogatatvopanishad finally explains Pranava Upasana has to be done in the Hridayam, in the heart. And that is how establishing and feeling the practice of the Omkara, experiencing the Omkara vibrations without chanting, but only feeling at the root level. That is the Pranava Upasana, the Upanishad puts it. And that is how the Upanishad, in each practices, the Yogatatvopanishad specifies rules. For example, for a practitioner for the Viparita Karani, how Viparita Karani has to be practiced. Nityam abhyasa yuktasya jataragni vivardhani ahara bhavastasya संपाद्यः साधकस्य च अल्पाहारः यदि भवेद अग्निदेहं हरेत् क्षणात्. If you take very little food or no food, when start practicing viparita karani, it says it will burn the body becomes a shushkaha. And that is how viparita karani should not be practiced with taking less food or no food. It doesn't mean one has to take more food. Yuktahara viharasya has been suggested. And that is how viparita karani practice is an important practice which enhances jatharagni of the practitioner. Viparita karani it is just reversing our posture. The head is down, legs are up. And in that posture, practicing a specific breathing method, and that is the importance of the Viparita Karani. And Yogatatvopanishad concludes itself by explaining Atma Sakshatkaraha, and that is how Kurmaha Swa Pani Padadi Shiraschatmani Dharayet. Just like a tortoise withdraws everything of that which is projected from it to the outside, the same tortoise withdraws it, collects it that was pushed out towards inside. Similarly, a yoga sadhaka must and should withdraw, bring back all his external projections. Then the light within enlightens. This is the Yogatatvopanishad. Let us conclude here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.